want to hurt you, Wendy. I just want to bash your fucking brains in.
Nerderotic.com.
I'm wearing my Star Trek shirt because we're going to talk a little bit about Star Trek. That convention was something else, brother.
Oh, dude, I have thoughts. We'll can't wait to talk to you about it.
I love your photo, by the way, Gary.
Oh my God. You with Jay Den and like that one I can't remember.
Oh, what's her name again? Thok?
Laura Thok.
Laura Thok.
Her comedian. Well, okay. She's a female comedian, so we'll comedian.
Quotes.
Did they know? When did they know?
She never did know. So when Disparu and I, we tried to separate, but there was only one person separating us in line when we were there. And she was lovely. She was like, hi, how you doing? You know, but everybody else knew at some point.
But they took your money and it's not cheap.
Of course they took our money. Like some of the people we're taking pictures with, like Disparu was one of 3.
What?
One of 3 people taking pictures with him. That's it.
That was
what?
It.
That was
3
it.
people.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's it
It was $70, worth every penny. And Caleb, I walked up to him, the guy playing Caleb, and he's like, "Do I know you from somewhere?" I'm all, "You might." And then I have my Kubrick smile. I'm like starting to smile, and the guy took the picture before I was ready.
You look creepy there.
I said this is prison
Right,
Gary.
Oh my God.
And somebody's like, totally height and looks mogged, or the druggie gets height and looks mogged. I'm all, former druggie gets height and looked mogged. Okay, get it right.
I just like, I think the first comment. Chat.
Alpha Fedor.
Wow.
That's great.
No, but those photos are great. I honestly love them. They're amazing.
It was.
What are you going to do with them? Are you going to frame them? Put them up somewhere?
Well, Disparu has a plan. I'm not going to divulge his plan, but
dang.
Disparu got the entire collection. I wasn't going to go that far because I wanted to spend my money on actual Star Trek stuff, which I did. But Disparu got the whole set except for Picardo, who bailed early, and it was their fault. Like, he bought the picture and he was there in time, and then Picardo bailed a little early.
Oh,
Wow.
that sucks.
And they were in and out. Like, they pulled them in, they pull you in like cattle. You take a picture and they leave. Yeah.
So I've done it before. I've done that kind of thing before. I did it with John Cleese at Dragon Con, and I know the drill. You're in line, you go up. It's so fast. They process people quickly when there's a big line. But I went down a rabbit hole of watching tours of the show floor. I felt like I was at STLV, and I've been before many times. I stopped going after the 50th. It was like, okay, I've done this for many years, 50 years of Star Trek. I'm good. What I saw this weekend in all the videos was nothing from modern Trek. Tours of the floor with merch, starship models, t-shirts, uniforms, props for sale. Was I wrong? Did I not see anything from current modern Trek on the floor for sale? Was there nothing?
No, there was just people for modern, like Ethan Peck, like signing. But as far as merchandise is concerned, none.
Yeah, that's what I saw.
Absolutely
none from modern Trek. Like, it's only old stuff. And as you pointed out, because I heard you talk about it, it's like people in their 50s go. Old school fans are still carrying the torch for Star Trek. They aren't growing the fandom. The fandom is aging out, and it's sad to see. It's sad to see. And it's like, I saw familiar faces, people I know that attended were there, friends of mine, and like you, and among others, and like they had the same impression as you. You know, it's a fandom that's aging out, and they're not growing it.
After what I witnessed there, it's kind of one of the saddest things. You know, I had fun, but like on my little Uber ride home, I was thinking of like, oh, it's gone. Like, this movie they're planning, I don't think it happens.
Yeah, I don't think
it happens at all. What they have done to this franchise, which is the top 3 pinnacle science fiction franchise. There is in this order. There is Star Wars, Star Trek, Doctor Who. Right. I mentioned yesterday. Somebody asked Andy Weir, like, is he a Star Wars or Star Trek guy? He said Doctor Who. So based for saying that. But look at the state they're all in. Right. And they shouldn't be in the state. They shouldn't. But now we can start like, who is the most dead? And I think that's debatable. I still think it's Doctor Who, but after what I witnessed with Star Trek, it's like, whew. Like, at least Star Wars can put out mediocre, I'm being nice. Like, just bland, mediocre shit and make a couple of bucks. Mm-hmm. Or earn a couple of bucks. I don't know if they're making it. But Doctor Who and Star Trek aren't even at that position anymore.
Yeah.
So we have to talk about value, right? We're going to talk about Warner Brothers and Paramount in a second here, Chris. Mm-hmm. So there's perceived value and then there's actual value. What is the actual value of Star Trek? Because they'll throw out numbers like a couple of billion, right? What do you think the franchise is worth? 4 billion? 3 billion?
At this stage, I don't know what it's worth going forward. I think it's more the back catalog. Back catalog, I mean, there's more good Star Trek than Star Wars, hours-wise. Like, that's just, that's just mathematically more good Star Trek. But how do you reinvigorate it? You probably just get back to basics, do bottle episodes, keep it focused on writing and not spectacle. Don't try to make a movie. The thing is, like, Star Trek II Wrath of Khan kind of ruined Star Trek from the standpoint of every movie needs a big bad. And so there's a sameness about all the films,
Yeah. So again, like, Paramount will probably think, I'm just going off the top of my head, 3 billion. We'll say 3 billion, based on the back catalog. I don't think it's worth $1 billion. Somebody said in the chat 500 million. I think, yeah, you might be right with that. I think the actual worth of Star Trek right now is under $1 billion, because even the interest in the back catalog is only going to go to a bunch of olds. There's going to be the occasional kid whose dad or mom is really into it, who's going to watch it. But and the watch time on the older shows is better than the newer shows. But ultimately, these IPs are overvalued, like these companies are. Like, massively over. Like, Paramount totally overpaid for Warner Brothers, because they'll go, we have Looney Tunes. What's the value of Looney Tunes?
I don't know. They wouldn't even release that Coyote versus Acme movie, which is being released by an independent company.
And that's insane. Remember how big those were? That wasn't just our childhood. It's multiple generations' childhoods. And they just fumbled it.
Well, once they felt socially responsible with those films, no guns, no violence. That's what Looney Tunes is all about. That's why I like Looney Tunes better than like Disney. When I was
always
a kid, I thought Disney was milquetoast, and for little kids, I was all about Bugs Bunny, Daffy Duck, Foghorn Leghorn, all that stuff.
I say, boy.
Yeah.
Dude, so when you get into the value, the actual value of these IPs, for one, I'm going to spoil a little bit of my video, but I've talked about it on streams before, and I've talked about it with you, Chris, behind the scenes. So Kevin Feige, big Star Trek fan. That might be his favorite thing over Marvel and over Star Wars is Star Trek. He's a big Star Trek fan, was a big fan of things like Picard season 3. Mm-hmm. And that's why he scooped Terry Matalas, because Paramount wasn't. Rumor has it that he proposed, he went to Disney and said, hey, maybe you should buy Star Trek. And Disney was like, no, it's not worth it. The price that they're asked, and they're right. They're 100% right.
Yeah.
And this is Disney, who was buying everything, and they had a chance to get what would be perceived as a valuable IP, but it's really not. And it's heading towards like Flash Gordon, Buck Rogers status.
Yeah. That's
what it's headed towards. Like, it's had its time, but I don't think there's anything they can do to bring it back. And I think this movie idea they have is terrible. It's possibly 1,000 years in the future, and it's going to be completely separate. And what? I don't know what you do. There is a way to fix both of these things. There's just not the willingness to do it.
Well, it's how they did it to themselves, and the people that are the shepherds of these franchises. It's only the original people, whether it's George Lucas or Gene Roddenberry, they were the shepherds. As long as they were involved, I feel like the right decisions were made. The less they were involved, or when they became non-involved, is when it went off the rails. And these, whether it's Kathleen Kennedy or Kurtzman, the current shepherds aren't growing the audience, and they are, objectively speaking, decreasing the value of this IP. If it were viewed as a stock and you valued the franchise, they did not do their due diligence. That's why I said with the Kathleen Kennedy not reuniting Han, Luke, and Leia, it was negligent. That was like the one thing you would want in a Star Wars sequel.
It's the single biggest creative mistake in Hollywood history. It was the easiest layup of all time.
Yeah. Even Mark Hamill rightly said, it'll take 30 seconds. 30 seconds, that should have been the whole movie. Should have been the continuing adventures of Han, Luke, Leia, Lando, the droids, and then bring in new people that you can pass the baton sort of through the course of a new story. But JJ, in his hubris, felt, no, it's not about you, Luke. It's about the new characters.
Well, Star Trek did that despite all the damage it had done.
Yeah.
In Picard season 3. And I'm not going to say the entire fandom was happy, because a lot of people were just like, no, fuck Kurtzman. I'm not even going to give it a chance. And that's fair. But I would say 75% of the fandom was on board because they did that. They brought in a new people. They put the crew, the next generation crew, on the fucking deck of the D. Yeah. And they rode out the D.
Yeah.
They rode the D. And it was great. And then they fumbled that opportunity. And instead of Legacy, we got Academy.
Right.
Which, hey, thanks. But I'd rather have good Star Trek. This blonde woman in the middle, I have no fucking idea who she was. She was talking as if like she was at a party in West Hollywood amongst her friends at a Star Trek convention.
Right.
And she essentially calls half the country idiots. So there's Ronald D. Moore. And he said the only sensible thing. And that only sensible thing was, when we made Battlestar Galactica, it was a highly political show, but we never told the audience what to think. We just presented scenarios. We looked at, this is not exact, I'm paraphrasing what he said, but we provided scenarios, and it was just get you thinking about it, get you asking questions. That's it. But we never told you what to think. That was the only sensible thing said in this entire panel. If we can get to...
Oh, Chase Masterson?
Is that Chase Masterson?
Yeah, I know her. I know her. She's super far lefty. She has like a charity.
Yes.
I mean, she was the bartender on Deep Space Nine.
Yes.
Remember? Yeah. That's who she is. I know her like in real life. I've had conversations with her, and it's always when she talks to me, there's this assumption you think like I do. That's one of those situations. I just go, okay. Yeah. I just listen, because I don't want to get in I don't care.
That are based in fears, and they are short-sighted enough to listen to people, to a dictator who comes along and makes huge, unrealistic promises and blames other groups of people, blames, as historically has happened. Hitler did this, we're doing it now.
That gives you a little taste of what it was. It was just that.
Yeah, she's super far lefty. I don't know.
Ronald D. Moore's in the background.
She's an actress.
But yeah, you guys couldn't hear half of that. So I'm going to have to boost the audio and put some closed captions on the bottom somehow. But yes, it's a TDS speech. It was a TDS panel. Worst panel I've been in since the Antifa panel at New York Comic Con that Garrett and I went to with John and Trey. Yeah, it was bad.
Oh,
bad. I don't care how you feel about Trump. Love him or hate him. There's a lot of both, right? It's a matter of, You're making a TV show that is struggling, that needs viewers, that used to be a show that libertarians, atheists, Christians, Republicans,
communists,
Democrats, communists, all loved. They all had found value in that show. That is actually bringing people together. And you've made it divisive like the rest of the stuff and hateful. And that's not what Star Trek was about. And we all know Roddenberry, giant hypocrite, fucking adulterer, and, you know, cheated on his wife, same thing. But the art, the show was mostly a bunch of people talking in rooms, entertained a generation. It was a cultural phenomenon. It pretty much started the modern version of the fan convention was Star Trek. Star Trek started that. Comic cons and all that stuff. It was Star Trek that started that. It was a show that was saved by a fan movement and turned into something that was basically the tapestry of the 90s. And then you've made it into this hateful, spiteful, stupid, fucking absolutely retarded, saccharine shit. I mean, books should be written about this. It's a crime against imagination.
Well, there should
as our
be
friend Robert would say.
There should be a book written about how these franchises. It's the theme of our Hollywood on the Rock show today. How every franchise is dead or dying.
Yep.
Dead or dying. Star Trek, Star Wars, the health of these franchises are dead and not. Now, the only one I would say is the exception might be Spider-Man.
Well, Spider-Man and a more modern one that's worked is A Song of Ice and Fire. Despite all of its fucking troubles, the people watch that shit. The ratings are crazy. And so as far as health, you're right. Spider-Man, Batman's still healthy, but it could be a lot better, we'll just say. But Spider-Man is the juggernaut. Spider-Man rules. Spider-Man is superhero movies right now.
Nerderotic.com. Please subscribe.